Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spring Impact Startup Visa Coffee Chat in February 14. It's Valentine's Day. I just realized that. So welcome everybody. Good morning from Vancouver, where I'm at, and Toronto, where the wonderful Zav is at. So I'm just going through the chat, and it seems like we have a lot of people from all over the world. I'm seeing we have Sri Lanka, um, and then just Ethiopia, I see. So if you are here joining us, do share in the chat where you're joining us from today. That would be lovely to hear. And then another thing, we do have several polls that we would like you to answer. And those are 3 questions, and that just helps us get to know you all a little bit and then also tailor a little bit of the information we're sharing today according to who's in the room with us. So the first one being, are you an entrepreneur, immigration consultant, or RCIC, or other? The second one, if you are an entrepreneur, what stage is your business in? Are you in the early stage or revenue generating stage? And then the last question is, have you applied to any other startup visa programs? Yes or no? So I'll just give you all maybe 5 seconds to answer those. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we didn't get any answers in the poll yet, but it will be open throughout the session. So do feel free to pick around in there and, your question when you're ready. So without further ado, the content of our presentation today is, of course, a little quick brief on the Startup Visa Program. What is that about? And then also a little bit about Spring. Who is Spring? Who are we and what can we help you with? And then we have the lovely Zav on screen with me, you'll see. We'll be sharing a little bit about the Spring program specifically, as if you are fortunate enough to join our program, you will be working very closely with Zav in going through your startup visa journey through our program. And then on top of that, he will be sharing a little bit about what are good due diligence examples. How do you apply to the program and what does a good application look like? So a lot of details on what are we looking for, what are we not looking for, and just really how to stand out. And then he'll also talk a little bit about, both of us will address any questions in the chat. We do have a chat section open, the chat box open, but also specifically a Q&A section. So on the very right of your screen, there will be a little box with a question mark, and that's where you should put your questions, and that's how we'll best address them. So moving on. So a little bit about myself. I'm Lorene Katubai, a program associate for Spring Activator's Impact Startup Visa, also known as ISV program. You'll be hearing that a lot. So I support the back-end operations of our ISV program with the amazing team at Spring. So this means that if you do apply to our program or join Spring's program, I will most likely be your main point of contact throughout the process. And then a little bit about myself personally. I have been an immigrant most of my life. I'm Filipino, but I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I lived in Seattle, Shanghai, and Vancouver. I've been in Canada for over 6 years now, and just last year, I got my Canadian citizenship. But in all the different countries I lived in, I've always had temporary status, where that was on a work permit, international student, or as a permanent resident. So finally being a citizen in Canada, I totally understand what it's like to navigate the immigration process for yourself and for your family, but then also understanding the challenges and excitement of moving to a new country. So that's a little bit about me personally. Work-wise or professionally, I'm super passionate about business impact strategy, community development, and just creating a pathway to a purposeful, sustainable economy that's welcoming to everybody. So this combination of personal and professional experience drives my passion of working with Spring entrepreneurs like yourself who want to make the world a better place through the very act of doing your business. So that's a long-winded introduction of me. Let's move on to what exactly is a startup visa program. So in just 7 short, small words, it is an immigration pathway to Canada. So Canada's startup visa allows foreign entrepreneurs to obtain permanent residence in Canada through business immigration. So owners of innovative startups or established foreign countries can move to Canada, or use this program to move to Canada to obtain permanent residency. And this is available to up to 5 partners or team members in your company, provided that you meet all the program requirements. So a little bit of background before I do go into detail of the requirements. Canada's Startup Visa Program was initially a 5-year pilot program that became a permanent program in 2018. And the idea is to recruit innovative immigrant entrepreneurs to foster economic growth in Canada. So what exactly are the requirements? So there are a lot of different requirements, but there are 4 that I want to share that are the most important ones. So the 4 requirements you need to meet in order to be eligible in the first place is, 1, of course, you have to have a qualifying business. So you must hold at least 10% of the voting rights attached to all shares of the company, or together with your team, you must hold at least 50% of those voting rights. And then 2, you must meet the language requirements. So you do have to take a language test from an approved agency, such as IELTS, and show that you meet the minimum level of the Canadian language benchmark. It's currently 5 in either English or French in all areas of speaking, reading, listening, or writing. The third requirement is proof of funds. So you will need to demonstrate that you have enough money to support yourself and any other dependents once you arrive in Canada. And the amount you need depends on the size of your company. And this does change ever so often. So do always double check into the IRCC website for what the actual amount is. And then last but not least, and this is also where Spring comes in, is you do have to have a letter of support from a designated organization. So in order to do this, you must pitch your business idea and convince the organization that your business is worth supporting. The process of pitching your business is different throughout each organization. And that's why we have the lovely Zav here today, who will share what that sort of pitching process or application process looks like.
Just to pause, Lorraine, I was wondering if you could bring yourself into the main window for our attendees.
Oh.
And also, if you'd like to share your screen, we can put me in the wing instead.
Oh, am I not sharing my screen?
No, but you've been audible, so.
Oh dear. Okay. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, can everybody see my screen now?
Yes, and
you must there we go.
Switch between us, so you could be on the screen instead. Now we can see the. If you want to. There we go.
Okay.
And
all right.
If you try bringing yourself also in there, but keeping the main window as your computer, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Everybody see. All right, there we go. Teamwork. This is why we have Zav. And if Zav can help me share my screen and remind me all these things, imagine the things he can do for your business. So there we go.
We have many superpowers on our team.
So where did I leave off? Yes. So the designated entity, a business incubator, and that is an organization like Spring. So we were at the pitch process area, and that was around if your pitch is successful or your application is successful, and then you go through the whole program of whatever service that is at the designated entity. For Spring, it is a 3-month-long program. You will receive a letter of support, also known as commitment certificate. They come together from the organization, and this is a must because this is part of your startup visa application. So Of all the different designated entities, if you look on the IRCC website, there are 50 other business incubators slash designated entities who do the startup visa process. So what exactly makes Spring different from the rest? And some of you can see it here, and you probably would have heard it when I said SUV, ISV. And the difference is that in that acronym, it's I for impact. So I gave you 4 points of the top requirements, and here are 4 points that differentiate Spring. So the first one being, I mentioned earlier that Spring, the SUV program became a permanent program in 2018. So Spring became a designated program in 2017. So Spring was one of the first business incubators to become an IRCC designated entity. And with that experience in history, entering at such an early stage, we've gained a deep knowledge and experience of how this program works and what the IRCC is looking into, but also with the support that we have at Spring with different immigrants and serial entrepreneurs, business leaders. This is something that we can provide insights on. And then the second differentiating factor is we do call our program Impact Startup Visa because we are the only designated organization that actively seeks entrepreneurs who want to make the world a better place through their business. So impact doesn't necessarily mean that your business product has to be just environmentally friendly or environmentally focused. If it seeks to create social impact through its product or operations, you qualify. So social impact or just impact in general. So whether that means diversity in the workplace or, procuring sustainable practices, just really balancing your profit with your purpose and how you run your business. And whatever that looks like, we are here to help support and coach your business and to scale that impact. Third is if you've had an opportunity to go through our website, you'll see a very diverse team operating through multiple provinces and also across the world. We're very much ready to support you in your transition to Canada, whether in whichever province you decide to settle in. Our network expands beyond our team, as well as we work in many global communities. And then lastly, while we are impact focused, we welcome entrepreneurs from all industries, whether it is food and beverage, health tech, agri-tech, all the different types of tech, consulting, education, consumer packaged goods, all are welcome as long as you have impact in mind. And then this brings me to my very last slide before we hear from Zav. But Spring's Impact Startup Visa program is also cohort-based, and we believe in the value of peer learning and the importance of networking and building that community. Zav will go into the detail, but I do want to share that we have graduated 18 cohorts to date, supporting over 300 immigrant entrepreneurs from the last 6-7 years. Our Impact Startup Visa immigrant and alumni represent over 30 countries. So we've worked with startups in Asia, Africa, South America, Europe, and the Middle East. And we also, as a team, really value feedback and believe in continuous improvement. As you all may know, as entrepreneurs, that's super important. And we ask participants from every cohort, so the over 300 plus entrepreneurs, what they think of the program. Would they recommend the program to other people? What do they think of the value of the program? And from that, our NPS score has consistently averaged over 90% or above. So we're very proud of running a high quality program with a very high personal touch for each participant that joins. So that brings me to the end. And if you do have any questions after my presentation, please do share. Again, it's on the right column with a little square and a question mark. Now that you've heard a little bit about Spring, myself, and what makes Spring very different, I'd love to welcome the lovely Zav, who will share more about the Impact Startup Visa program that he runs at Spring. Over to you, Zav, and I will start sharing my screen.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction and it's very insightful uh, intro to spring. There's lots of data, and as you know, we've been doing this for a while, so it's always great to see people from all over the world joining, and we learn from each other. We also love it when people are actually in Canada, where we can meet them in person. So lots to talk about. I'm gonna try to share my screen here, and let me know whenever you can see my presentation.
There we go. We can see the screen.
Awesome. So, hey everybody, I'm Zav, and I spend a lot of time with our wonderful entrepreneurs, the impact entrepreneurs that join our program. I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I've been part of several startups. I've had the um, opportunity to be part of a couple of small exits along the way. Those are referred to when a company reaches a certain level of maturity, when founders can pass it on and move on to other things. And I've also been part of many other startups that didn't work out. So during our time together, we learn about both the good, the bad, and how to navigate different types of challenges, how to scale your business. So with that said, when we look at successful applications, success meaning it needs to meet the criteria and requirements of the government of Canada when you apply, so that you can actually make it here and go through all the steps. And also success in terms of, is this business going to be a really good business? Would people want to buy it, buy into it? Would people want to use the services or the products that you're offering? So lots of questions we have to ask ourselves to ensure that we're the right fit for each other. So those three things listed here, we look for a detailed application. That means when you apply, you have to go through a couple of forms on our website, and we encourage everybody to put full sentences, paragraphs, give us as much information as you can so we can get to know you better. If you put one word or two words or say, hey, I'm interested, we won't be able to assess that application. So that's number one. Second thing is transparency. When it comes to your founding team, your background, your experience, what accomplishments you've had in the past, all those things that you think could add value to your application to make it a successful one, we encourage you to share with us. And the level of impact. So impact, as Lorraine explained it really well, it could mean many things. For us, we think every business should have a certain level of impact. So it doesn't matter what sector you're in, doesn't matter what type of business you have, as long as you can clearly explain that it's not just about making profits and you're thinking about somehow making the world a better place for all of us. It could be through social impact, it could be through environmental impact, or sourcing sustainable materials, all sorts of different things that could add to your level of impact. That's really important to us because, as you know, it's in the name. We are the Impact Startup Visa Program. So we look forward to see what awesome impact you're all going to make in Canada and in the future. So what does the Spring program look like? You might be asking. We have a lot of information actually available on our website. Maybe Lorraine could put in the chat where you can go through it, read the reviews, read the questions that we've answered. That it's going to really help you at the end of the day before even applying, to make sure that we're, again, the right fit for you and you're the right fit for the program. So once you're in, thousands of people apply, believe it or not, over the course of 12 months. So we can only allow a certain number of those applications through. Our programs, in that sense, are very exclusive. And once you're in the program, it starts with helping you build your community, build your network, even before you're in Canada. So just being part of the cohort that's a very unique experience because you're going to be aligned with other like-minded people, entrepreneurs that also want to make great impact. And some might be a little bit later stage than you, some might be a little bit earlier stage. So it's a really great entrepreneurial atmosphere for everybody to learn. And our trainings begin with 12 weeks of live sessions. You get to hang out with me, with our other great program managers, Gina, Laureen, of course, she'll be there to support you throughout the application process, and lots of other amazing personalities that we have, including guests that are, they have domain expertise, they're experts, whether it's in marketing, sales, finance, investment, and every week we invite a new guest. And a lot of those people are also immigrants. So you get to learn from many different types of people, men, women, BIPOC founders, and the list goes on. And in terms of resources, you get 2 years access to our learning portal. Again, this is exclusive to our founders and cohorts and everyone in their team. So you get to actually rewatch our session recordings. You get to go through our exclusive templates and key takeaways, lots of videos and great stuff that you can spend even more time with and continue on your learning journey. Plus, there are additional bonuses. We try to provide live support, whether it's in Vancouver, Toronto, in different time zones. And even after the program completes, you get to have that live support from Spring. One of my colleagues, Fabi, who's also another entrepreneur from Brazil, and she's also an immigrant. She would walk you through all the great benefits of working with Spring. And you can, tell us when you need something or when you make progress. We're all here to cheer you up at the end of the day and want to see everybody make it here eventually so we can celebrate with you. These are some of the topics that we cover during those 12 weeks. And it's designed in a way to make it feel like a journey and not so boring, not too academic. It's a combination of having knowledge that you can study and as well as hands-on experiential learning modules that help you understand certain things that you can't necessarily read about. So you're going to improve on your soft skills, hard skills, and some of my favorite topics like embodying entrepreneurship would help you figure out what path you're on, what kind of business you're building. And numbers tell stories. That's another good one, that we break down what it takes for you to unlock investment and other forms of capital, loans, and funding, especially when you come to Canada, because the government of Canada offers a lot of support when it comes to grants and those kinds of resources. And post-program support, as I mentioned, we have dedicated staff that will work with you. Once you're an alumni, you are a lifetime member of Spring's community. So you get to continue meeting new people, building your network, and obviously, like any program, the more you put in, the more you get from it. So dedicated mentors are there to help you. You get a few hours one-on-one support with a mentor of your choosing. And one of the most exciting things that we added recently, this year forward, is our perks package. So literally you get access to over $1 million in savings and discounts. So if you're a fan of Google or HubSpot or Amazon, or you're paying for cloud services, this is there to provide you with savings so you don't have to pay the full amount out of pocket. And there are hundreds of companies to choose from, and every month our team is adding new partnerships to that. And then finally, events. These are both online, like these types of sessions, as well as in-person sessions in Canada, in different cities across Canada. So we're super excited about that. And this is when we bring people together. You get to meet other founders that are here, connect with other partners, and deepen your relationship with each other and Spring. So this is an example from couple weeks ago, actually, we had our 10th year anniversary. It was Spring's birthday party in Toronto. You can see that's me on the far right. And we had our amazing team from Vancouver, from different cities joining us, and lots of alumni. All those people that you see there with their thumbs up, they're all ISV alumni who were once not in Canada. They were on the same journey as you here, and now they're here with their families, and they're working on continuing growing their businesses. So I'm going to pause there, pass it back to Lorraine for any questions, and thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you so much, Zav. I love that photo of you in Toronto on that party. I wish I was part of that party.
Next
Man.
time. Sure.
Next time. next time. That reaches us to the Q&A section, and there are a couple questions I'm seeing in the chat, and also in the Q&A section in general, which have been voted up and down. So starting with the first question being, am I eligible to apply to the Startup Visa program if I'm already in Canada? And the answer is very much so, yes. So the Startup Visa is designed to support innovative entrepreneurs, as you all know, that are within and or outside of Canada. If you want to start or move or establish a business here. And if you're already in Canada, you can apply assuming you're on a temporary status or a temporary visa. So there's that. And then the next question is, can I still apply and participate in the program if I have yet to establish my business or if I don't have a product? I'm going to pass that over to you, Zav.
Thank you. Yes, you can certainly apply, but you need to be ready with at least some kind of idea. It doesn't mean it has to be a full-fledged business yet. The government of Canada is okay with you exploring until you find your business model, which is why we're here to also help you figure that out. And we would consider that earlier stage. But you just have to make sure when you apply, fill out all the application form questions the best you can. So when we're asking you about your, business overview, try your best to explain. Think about what does this business you want to create in Canada look like? And it's always better if you try and use data, try and use online stats and research to make it seem as real and as viable as possible, so that when we or anyone on our team is reviewing that application can see the potential. So at least you have to explain to us the potential behind you, behind your business idea. And if things change down the road, it's okay. We can work with that.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is also super important in terms of business overview. And so I want to hone that in if everyone's applying or just pitching their businesses or, trying to describe your business to, whether it's a program or anybody else, someone down the street. A business overview, could you share again the points, which was, I don't even remember. Can you tell us that? What are the
So generally, the government wants to know that a few things are met. A few of these requirements are met. So to your point, Lorraine, one of those is level of innovation. Now, whether the company is new or it's an existing company, you might also be listening today or watching us, and you might have a company that's doing really well in your home country. Both of those are accepted based on the IRCC criteria. But under innovation, Canada wants to know, what are you going to bring to Canada to help Canadians? What kind of innovation? And if you just say, I am a hairdresser or I'm a teacher, that doesn't really explain any innovation. But if you were to say, I've been a teacher for 10 years or 15 years, and I'm building this new business that's going to help with accelerating learning for kids with certain disabilities. And we're going to use this technology, and we're going to use mobile technology. We're going to use AI technology. That's a popular one. but explain it in detail so people can see, wow, okay, this could help save lives. So also you're impacting lives of people that have other abilities. And so that's the impact right there. And the bigger that business grows, it benefits the society. So that's just one quick example. But you also want to speak about the strength of your team, your management team. Um, the third point is viability, like we talked about, making sure this business is actually a good business that's viable and sustainable over time. And so if you speak to any traction points and proving that either you've done it in your home country or you're planning to do it in Canada, those all qualify as good answers, as long as you give us some details. Don't put one word answers.
Mhm.
Apply.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but I was taking notes when Zav was sharing that. And the 5 points he had mentioned in this answer is level of innovation. How does it apply to Canada? What's the impact of your business? What's the strength of your team? And then lastly, your viability. So these are just amongst a couple of those things that you need in your business overview. Okay, so we got that one. Next one being, what sectors or industries are able to apply to the program? I can answer that one. And that is, we accept all businesses from all sectors. So if you've worked in food, oh, sorry, that's my dog.
Nice.
So if you worked in food, agriculture, healthcare, sustainable energy, a marketplace app, e-commerce, all different business types, you're welcome into the program. Zav, I'm gonna pass the question to you, and can you tell us about the application fee or program fee for the SUV program?
Okay, absolutely. So that's fun. I'm a fan of dogs for sure, and someone's excited. So with program fees, it varies based on number of people in your team. If you're a solopreneur, one person applying, the program costs, I believe, is 30,000 Canadian dollars, and we will work with you if you get approved, if you make it through past our interview stage, if you get invited to join the program. Our team and Lorraine, of course, will walk you through the paperwork and what's required. So you don't need to think about it too much right now, as long as you meet the IRCC requirement. So this, I can't stress this enough because it's super important for everybody here to first do this self assessment. So the Canadian government wants to make sure when anyone comes to Canada, they can support themselves and their team and their family. So they have asked, this is mandatory for everybody, to be able to show that they have certain amount of money in the bank so they can take care of themselves when they're in Canada. It's a new country, it's going to take some time to find your way around and get started. So this is to actually support you. This is a buffer created so that people are protected in a way. Now that's about, what's the exact amount, Lorraine? Is it 30,000?
Yes. So for a team of one, it's 30,000. For a team of two, is 2 to 3 is 35, and then for a team of 4 to 5, it's 40. So I know we're disclosing numbers here, but do always check on our website the program fees, as that's the price currently, and perhaps it might change in the future. So the best place to go in terms of our program fee is on our website, and we always update it there as well.
Absolutely. And there are, certain ways we can assess as well. Like I always encourage clients to make sure they have met this criteria. So let's say if the requirement is 30,000, maybe think about having double that amount so that you can cover any legal expenses, you can show the proof of funds, as I mentioned earlier, plus cover the program fees once you join the program. So that's a good way to look at it. And don't just account for the exact amount, because sometimes there are, costs and expenses that you don't know about until you're in Canada, and you don't want to be surprised. So always
Mhm.
good to have a buffer for any business.
Of course. And with that being said, too, Zab, I just put in a link in the chat for the IRCC website. And this is also where they discuss proof of funds. So, how much you need to have, and for how many family members you have, the number changes. And this is also something that changes fairly often. So, having a look there and seeing, because if they change it and you might not qualify anymore, that's also something you want to be aware of when you're putting your application together. Um, So another question is the program virtual or in person?
Great question. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, for sure. So the program is virtual for 3 months. The program is virtual, just because everyone's applying is from different parts of the world, and the only place we can all come together is virtually for the time being. So the program is virtual for 3 months, and then in terms of in-person activities, I believe that was a question for. I can start that here. What does post-program support look like? So the previous question, that in-person question, ties into this. And Zav has mentioned that we do host several networking or welcoming events in person, both in Toronto and Vancouver. And then Zav, perhaps I know you do a lot of post-program support as well. Could you speak a little bit or share more about that?
Absolutely. So we've already started planning many events across Canada in person, starting this year, and
Mm-hmm.
other colleague Fabi, who you will all get to connect with eventually, she'll be leading those, organizing those for us. And there's going to be one in Toronto, there's going to be one in Vancouver, and we're going to continue also connecting our alumni to external events that are organized by other ecosystem partners. So there are lots of opportunities for in-person networking. And we also do one-on-one for anyone who is in the city. They can always arrange a time with us that works, and pop by our offices, either in Vancouver or Toronto. And our team really likes that. And we say hi and answer any questions and understand where you are in your journey.
Mm-hmm. All right. We have, let's see. This is an interesting one. What are the main challenges that ISV, Impact Startup Visa entrepreneurs face during the program and after the program?
It's a great question, to unpack that really quickly. So, because each business is unique in a sense, they're in different sectors. As I mentioned, they might be even in different stages of their growth process. So, it's not all the same. Generally speaking, when people join the cohort, and we have lots of smart, brilliant founders from all over the world. In the beginning, you might feel nervous. That's a challenge. You don't know what to expect, and you might be shy. You don't know if you want to talk to other people. But within just a few weeks, usually that all changes. Everybody start to meet each other, the level of confidence grows, and then also we see that the quality of questions that we receive increase and improve. So those are really great ways to see growth in real time. And the hope and the outcome for this program is that when everybody is in Canada, there are no surprises. So you know how to best integrate your business once you get incorporated, where to go for what type of support you might need. And we address all sorts of questions like that throughout the program. And another challenge might be around, if you're coming with family, you might have questions outside of business. We also help you with that. You might want to know where to um, live in a particular city. What area is better than another area that has maybe better schools for children? Literally, we help with anything related to helping you smoothly integrate as you come to Canada. I don't know if I answered it, but I'll pass it back to you, Larry.
Yeah, no, that helps. Um, let's see. We've got a couple more questions here. Okay, here we got this one. And is it required for an applicant to be fluent in French? And the answer is no. So when we mention the language testing, it's either English or French. If you want to do both, that would be absolutely amazing. But either English or French is sufficient. So we're done there. Let's see. Some questions here about me not sharing screen in the beginning. Thank you all for telling me that. Well, here we go. Another question is, what's the timing of the program? So we have shared about this again. And Zav has mentioned, I have mentioned, the program is 3 months long, 12 weeks, if you want to break it down that way. And in the 12 weeks, you do have 2 sessions, as Zav mentioned. So really, you're getting 24 sessions in that 12 weeks. And then there is, as Zav also mentioned, lifetime support at the end when you're an alumni. And that lifetime support does mean access to Spring, to the community. And you just get support that way. We are done there. Looks like we don't really have any other questions.
We cover everything.
There we go. Actually, we have one more. This is an interesting one, and I'm personally not actually super sure about this, but perhaps you can share some insight. As a person reviewing applications, what about personal brands? Do you accept individuals as well as companies?
Yes, the answer is yes, we do. As long as you communicate based on this program's requirements from the government. So another example, if I apply and say I'm an English teacher and I've been teaching English for 20 years in my home country or different countries. Now, when you apply to SUV, Startup Visa Program, you want to try and communicate it from those 3 or 5 points that we shared earlier. What's the innovation that you want to bring to Canada? You can certainly be a solo founder, but you want to speak about your level of innovation. Maybe you found some new methods to teach English faster. Maybe you are using some other machine learning tools and have some AI component, and it, again, helps in your business. Those are considered innovative, but you have to go in detail. Don't just put AI, and that's not going to also qualify you. So think about it and make sure when you apply, don't speak too much from a personal lens. Like if you start explaining, if the question is asking you about competitive analysis, so we want to learn about who are the competitors, do you think, in Canada or outside of Canada? And if you answer something else, that's going to score low. Or if you start to tell us about your, some stories of, you traveling somewhere and something completely off topic, it's going to, score low. So we encourage you to answer the questions as much as you can in detail, and the rest, just trust the process. We will ask you if we need more information from you. And that should answer that.
We have another question from Joe, and what are the days and times of the 2 sessions? Just thinking in terms of time difference, and when is the next cohort? Zav, give that to you.
So we work across time zones. I know Lorraine being in the West Coast, I'm in the East Coast. We have people joining from different time zones. Our cohorts almost always have people from Asia time zone, Africa time zone, sometimes European time zone. So the best way to arrange for that is what we have implemented in our calendar and agenda. So usually we start at 11 a.m. my time zone, Eastern time zone, which is 8 a.m. where Lorraine is in Vancouver, and anyone in that region, that part of the world. So it's a little bit later for some people. If you're in the Far East regions, it's a little bit earlier for some other people, if you're in Vancouver and other parts of the world. So, but we've been doing this for many years now, and we know that it works. And everyone, after the first maybe couple of weeks, they actually enjoy it, and they're like, "Hey, I can't wait to be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays." So usually those are the days that we run the sessions on, but sometimes that might change as well due to schedule overlaps that happen. And yeah, but generally it's Tuesday, Thursdays.
Thank you, Zev. And I'm mindful that we are at time. I do want to share my screen, double checking if I am sharing. Yes, I am. So we do have 3 things I want to share. One being, we are currently recruiting for the spring 2024 cohort, and this cohort is tentatively starting in May. May to August, so that 12 weeks. If you are interested in joining this cohort, do reach out to us through email, apply through our website, and next Impact Startup Visa Coffee Chat will actually be in Portuguese. So next month, if Portuguese is your native language and you're really interested in attending a Portuguese session, in case I am talking way too fast, I have been told I talk very fast in English. So if you want to join a Portuguese session, that will be on March 13, 8 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. PST. And then in EST, that's 11 to 11:45. Am I correct, Zav?
That's right.
Yeah, EST. And then the next one, if Portuguese is not your forte, but it is definitely not mine, we will have another one scheduled at the end of March. It will be in the last week of March. So, and this 2 sessions will be hosted with Lake House Immigration. You can see their logo there, and they are registered Canadian immigration consultants. So if you had any questions that are very specific, immigration specific technicalities, I do welcome you to join these 2 sessions. And they're up on our website as well. So ending with that, and last but not least, how are you going to reach us? Feel free to scan this site, this page right here on how to reach us, our Facebook, Instagram. Oh, that's LinkedIn. Yeah, our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, email account, or just our general website. There is lots of information out there. And if you still fall short, do feel free to email us at help@spring. So thank you very much, everybody, for sharing your time with us. Thank you very much for engaging with us. And thank you very much to the lovely Zav for sharing more information about the program with us.
My pleasure. Thank you. And I hope to see everybody here soon, either in Canada or during our interviews.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.